YouTube, please give me a moment while I go live on Facebook. It'll take just 1 second. And we should be live on Facebook. Hi everyone, welcome again. The first video crashed, so welcome again if you tuned in a few minutes ago to another video of the Strategic Swing Trader. I am Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you're doing well, hope your weekend is going great. We're gonna get started, but as always, before I start, I have to share with you a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss is for educational purposes only. Also, if you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description of the video below. But without further ado, let's turn on the charts and get going. If you find benefit in today's video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps support our channel. Market was pretty boring last week up until Friday when the market rolled over. You could see it coming because we have this is called a rounding top. Every rounding top, this is actually what crashed my video a few minutes ago. It's that annotation tool that I took out. So let's hope it doesn't crash my video again. Every rounding top has a breakout failure embedded in it, and you can see it on the SPY. It formed at the end of last week. Was that right? So Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, so Friday was the breakout bar, and then once you break under it, you basically have a breakout failure. So we didn't really get the breakout failure until later in the week, but you can see a minor breakout failure in the SPY and the Qs too. So every rounding top has contained within it a breakout failure, and my video is crashing again. Gonna have to redo it one more time, I think, and not use the annotation tool. Maybe it's working still. I think it's working. I just closed out of the annotation tool. Sorry about that. Let's get, let's do away with that annotation tool. But basically, we have a rounding top that failed. We have a breakout failure in the SPY, and you couldn't tell it was a breakout failure until we start breaking under the base. So this week, and the same on the Qs. The Qs actually had a tighter base. I went short 1,000 shares of the Qs on the 15-minute sell setup. So I do have 1,000 shares short the Qs. Now, I like that rounding top on the hourly chart a lot, but I don't like the daily short. I almost never go against an uptrend like this, a tight uptrend in the market. But on the hourly chart, to me, it was really clear we were gonna break down that, and we got a nice 15-minute sell setup in the later part of the day, in the afternoon, that I decided to do it short. And I think the Qs look slower to about 372, 373 maybe. That 200 MA, that red line on the hourly chart, and the prior pivot. So that's what I think. The daily is very tough because it's bullish. So it's hard to be bearish on this kind of a daily chart. Whether we're looking at the SPY or the Qs doesn't really matter. The SPY is a little bit weaker right now. As you can see, the SPY is below the 20 already. The Qs is still above it. But I'm going to be bearish going forward. That's why I'm wearing the red t-shirt. Going to be bearish going forward unless Friday's high gets taken out. Like, let's say tomorrow we gap up and pop, or some kind of a really bullish event takes place, then maybe I can turn back to bullish. But for now, my bias is going to be bearish until proven otherwise, and my target at least one is gonna be on the Qs, about 373. So we're not talking about a collapse here. I'm just, I'm looking for that pullback. That would be target one. Depending on how we get there, if we drop, like if we dive, and then we'll bounce. If it's like, like a rubber band, if you stretch it, it snaps back. So if we have an accelerated move, we'll probably snap back. If we gap down and it's a gradual move, just a grind on the way down, then we'll probably end up taking it out. And then the next support area after that, we'd have to look at the weekly chart. So it would be the top of that base, which is about 370. So for now, I'm looking at 373, possibly 370 also as target, okay? And you can always evaluate how strong or weak the support is based on the reaction that you get once we get there. So I don't know whether this 373 area, this base right here, will hold or not. Again, it just will depend on the kind of reaction we get, okay? But that's going to be my target, and I'm going to be bearish going forward until we at least get to the target or reverse Friday's high, okay? And I told you I have a short position in the market. Okay, so that's the market for me, at least for next week. Here are the swing ideas that I like, okay? And if you're a subscriber, I already updated the newsletter. It will go out on Monday by about 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, giving you a couple hours to input the trades if you want to, the orders into the system. But if you'd like to just look at the plays that I'm calling for Monday, feel free to log on to your T3 Live account, go to your customer portal, and you'll see the newsletter there, okay? So you'll see which ones I picked, because obviously I'm not going to take every item on my list, so I picked a few. So here are the plays. Here are the things that I like. AEHR, I like it, but only if it takes out 1104. Okay, long. Stop under 984. Being that it's at all-time high, I don't have a target for it, so we'd have to just manage it if it were to trigger. I like the CFLT even more than I do the AEHR. As a 1, 2, 3 play, long over 6711, excuse me, stop under 63.55. So same exact idea as the AEHR, but I like the CFLT more. The COE is what I call a transition A breakout. When the stock is in a downtrend under that blue line, which is the declining 20 MA, and finally pops and starts to base, and the 20 comes from underneath and pushes it higher, that's called a transition A breakout. Now, this is not the best I've ever seen, of course, but I like it higher if we can take out 364. So over 364 long, stop under 295, and target would be about $6 on the COE, okay? Edit is a beauty on the larger time frame, but I feel like I missed out on it. See that pull back to the monthly, to the rising 20 to support. So this was nice. It does have a daily buy setup, and I especially like the hourly chart on this. So the entry for this would be just over Friday's high, which is 67.77 long, stop under the base, okay? Target 1 would be the prior high, and target 2, which is $73. Target 2 would be the all-time high, around $100. So this would be on the back half. If it were to reach target 1, on the back half, it would be a long-term hold to about $100, okay, on edit. Now remember, I have to remind you that these plays need to reach the entry points, those entry levels, and trigger. So for example, the entry on this should be over 67.77. So the stock would need to clear 67.77 before one could get in it, okay? Before I would get in it. FBRX, it's a gap fade. So when I get a big gap down, I often look for a base breakout on the hourly chart to play above it long. Now, with the hope, the expectation that it would start to rally back into the gap fill. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way back up to $25, $30 and close the gap. No. But could it get back up to just $6? And that would be a 50% move. Yes, I think so. Could it get to 10? Maybe. But I like it. I would need to take out at a bare minimum 425. Ideally over 450 also, meaning I would like to also see it take out 450 before I really commit to it. It's not the favorite. It's not like a really terrific gap fade, because I like it when the 20 is under price. So this is, as you can see, crisscrossing price. So it's not perfect, but I like it higher over 425. FYBR is a base at the all-time high. So obviously I just like it higher over 33.11, I think. No, 33.10. Stop. There's two places to place the stop. Two places to put the stop. One would be under $32, $32.12. The other would be under $31.45 as a long-term trade. I would give it the big stop if you don't want to get shaken out and you really want to hold it long term, because I like the FYBR. Okay. By the way, Fubo's looking good, but I don't have it on the list because it's not ready. But I'm liking the Fubo on the weekly chart. Let me go to logarithmic scaling. That will see, that's looking good. So again, a lot of people like to trade the stock Fubo and also PLTR. They both look a little bit similar. Neither one of them, as you can see, neither one of them is on my list because they're not quite ready for Monday at least. But I'm watching them. So Fubo and PLTR, they look similar. And how did I remember to, how did I think to show you these? Because I saw the FYBR reminded me of the Fubo. Okay. GSAT has a 1, 2, 3, 4. So long over 278, stop under 245. The problem with GSAT is, for me, like it a lot, is the resistance is at $3, 298. Maybe, maybe ends up taking it out. I think it probably will. And head back to the all-time high. No, not all-time high, but 450. So I like GSAT higher over 278, stop under 245, target $3, 298 to be exact, target 2 about 450 on GSAT. GSKY looks even better in my opinion. This looks higher on the larger time frames. The weekly is breaking out, the monthly broke out, and then the daily perhaps is breaking out. It needs to take out 857. So over 857 long, stop under 799, under $8. So I like this GSKY a lot as a 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. The NCNO is a weekly 1, 2, 3. So the igniting bar, the narrow range bar, long above it, stop below it, and the target's going to be around 86.50. Okay. The daily is not great because it's not a tight base, but I like the weekly a lot. SD, I played it earlier as an earnings play and it gapped up, worked for a little bit, but earnings plays I just hold one overnight. They just hold it for one night and then get out of it. So it worked for one night and then I got out of it, but it stayed really, really bullish. So I like it over the base, stop under it long. Okay, on the SD, the longer it bases, the better it becomes as the moving average will catch up on the daily chart. TVTX, what a bullish stock at the moment, at least. TVTX, it's got a lot of resistance right here, but notice it's based also for a while, so it's eating away at that supply area. Has an hourly buy setup. Okay, so not bad over Friday's high long. You can also say it's a 1, 2, 3 pattern because we have that pop, the narrow range bar. So above 23.70 long, stop under $23. That would be your stop. And target, I'm not really sure what the target is, probably about $27 almost, and maybe target to $30, that prior high. Okay, on the TVTX, VIR is a longer term play. I don't like it that much on the daily chart because that's not a tight base, that's not a tight pattern, but I do like it on the weekly and the monthly. So this is similar to Fubo. It's a transition A and the PLTR. So I like it over 52.40, stop under 46.50, and target, it's a big target about 83.50. So VIR. Okay, and then XERS, I like only the daily chart on this stock. I don't like the weekly, I don't like the monthly. It's a daily buy setup, daily pullback to the rising 20, so long over 274, stop under 254. Okay, it's a 20-cent stop. Oh, and the target about $3 maybe, and 350. It's not one of the ones that I picked that I'm gonna play, but it's a decent daily chart. I said I like tight patterns, and as you can see on the hourly chart, that Q's, that rounding top, that's pretty tight. I mean, a lot of narrow range bars that finally broke down. So that's what I like. I like tight bases because then when you get a break above or below the base, you get follow through. You get an explosion almost. It's almost like a balloon. The more, or whatever it is, the more it's pressured, the bigger the explosion is once it finally pops. Okay, or like a pressure cooker, I should say, right? So the more pressurized it is, the bigger they pop. And the same with the market. When the pattern is really tight, you get follow through. You get a big move. But when it's really sloppy, you don't get much follow through, and that's why the VIR on the daily, it's pretty sloppy. It's not a tight base, but I like it as a long-term play, not as a swing, as a long-term play. Now the bearish list, we have ADMA. We had a gap up on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday were narrow range bars, so that gives us the 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern short. So under 315, this is 15 I think, so I'd let it take out 15. Stop over 123, under $1.15, stop over 23, and it's at all-time low, so there's no target. We'd have to just manage it. Okay, notice how, you know, this stock had a big gap up this day, got sold. Big gap up, got sold. That shows you how bearish the stock is. That the big money, because that's 31 million shares, is that right? I think that's 31 million shares. This day, 51 million shares a few days ago. That shows you that the big money is taking advantage of these big gaps by selling the shares, not by buying more, by selling the stock. So this stock is really weak and lower. GRWG looks lower. It's into support. That's the problem with it, but I like it lower, under $29.44. Stop would be over $31. So it's about $1.50. And the target on this, I think I like the weekly on it. Let's take a look. I'm waiting for the weekly to come up. Wow, that's a nice big top. The bigger the top, the bigger the drop, and that's a base at the under that big top, and at the bottom of the wide range red bar. So honestly, it has room all the way down to the 200 MA on the weekly chart. So that's like $15 or so. The only issue, guys and gals, is that stocks, a lot of stocks, some stocks that are independent from the market, that are, you know, dropping while the market goes up, you know, those will follow through to the downside regardless of what the market does, because as you can see, it's ignored the market the last 2 years, which were super bullish in the market. But some stocks that have been bullish and just recently started rolling over, they won't collapse without the market turning a little bit bearish. So while I truly like the GRWG all the way down to about somewhere, at least somewhere here, like $16, $17, maybe even lower, it probably will not get there unless unless what we just saw happen on Friday, that breakdown, ends up being the top. Unless this ends up being the top in the market, you know, this probably won't collapse all the way down to $15, $16. But that's the target per the weekly chart. The LEV looks good. It just doesn't have a lot of room until it gets to support. As you can see, it's at 1090. The all-time low is like at 1060. So it doesn't have a ton of room. And I also didn't have it on my watch list until I scanned this weekend and I found it, and it triggered already. So I should already be in it from Friday if I wanted to get in it. So that's the issue, is it has very, very little room. And now the entry is under 1090, stop is over 1150, as opposed to the entry being under 1106. That might be only 16 cents, but when you're talking about pennies, 16 cents matters, okay? And small targets, so it matters. So this is a little bit late. It triggered already on Friday, but I didn't have it in my spreadsheet, so I didn't see it until this weekend. Still looks lower at about 960, the all-time low. OTRK, similar problem, is that it doesn't have, I checked, I like it a lot, but it doesn't have a lot of room until it gets to support, which is at 950. Okay, now could it crash through the support and head down to, you know, somewhere around 750? Sure, but for now it has room only to 750. I'm waiting for I'm trying to go to the daily chart. Not sure what's going on today with my charts, with my video crashing twice. So again, to the low here is 950, but I bet you, again, if the market turns bearish, because this stock is really bearish, it will get down to 850, at least 850, okay, on the OTRK. And where's the entry for this? It's very easy, under this bar's low, 1085, stop over 1194, okay, so it's just over $1.10. POSH, also like the LEV, triggered on Friday, so, and I'm not in it, you know, so it's a little bit late, but I like it. It's at all-time low, no support to the left, no target, should be able to follow through again with the market if the market is bearish, but triggered already on Friday. REE, I bet you that's an acquisition, a SPAC stock. Crashed, has a nice sell setup, triggered already on Friday. I like it short under 587, really 587. Stop over 660, 658, and target, who knows, don't have a target for it, at all-time low. RMO triggered on Friday, but not too late. I already have a position in it, but let's just hope it continues lower under 460. Stop over 494. Okay, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Target 1 would be about 410, and target 2 all-time low. So we'll have to manage target 2. STNE also triggered on Wednesday. Went sideways for the most part the last 3 days, and now it looks lower to me if it can take out Friday's low, which is 43.47. So I like it. No, 43.30. Under 43.30 by $45, let's just say lower. Okay, on the STNE, and target on this, I mean, my goodness, has room to $30. That's really the target on it. On STNE, it reminds me a little bit of the JWN Nordstrom. So bearish, gap down, and look at the top again. The bigger the top, the bigger the drop, and it has no support all the way down to maybe $16. But that will definitely need the market. Okay, Nordstrom is a market stock, will definitely need the market, but it's really bearish. SUNW also really bearish on the weekly chart. Is a breakdown. Target is about, I would say, about $4 on this. So I can show you the weekly. No, that's the daily. Here's the weekly. So that's pretty tight. Looks lower to about $5. Okay, on the SUNW. TISI, let's take a look at the daily. I don't like it that much because you have support right below at 375. So this one I would take off. TUYA has a rounding top on the hourly chart, just like the Qs had before it broke down. So this is similar, but it's also a big stop. Stop is above the highs, above the SPAR's high, which is 1340. Entries around 1160, and target the prior low. It's not that it doesn't look good, but reward to risk is probably a little bit low on this, on the TUYA. Wish has a 1, 2, 3, 4. This is exactly like the RMO. So I like it a lot. I did the Wish as an earnings play. This quarter's plays, this earnings season, the earnings plays worked really, really well. We took this short the day before earnings, and the next day I think it got down to 27% on Wish. Was one of the better plays this earnings season. And now it has a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like it under 675 short, stop over 730, and target 1, 614, 615. Target 2, who knows, all-time low. And then last but not least is the YSG. Looks really good under 492. Stop over 526, so it's about a 35-cent stop. Target 1 would be 452. Target 2, all-time low. So you just have to manage it. Okay, so the shorts are a little bit difficult because a lot of them either have triggered or don't have much room until they get to the first support area. The only thing that's encouraging about the shorts is the market. If this ends up being, the top, or ends up producing kind of a bigger pullback than expected, then all these shorts a lot of the weak ones will just basically fall apart. Okay, so talked a lot about the market, talked about the swing plays. I hope you found benefit in today's video, and if you have, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. If you have any questions for us, reach out to us by emailing customer service info@t3life.com. We have trained trading counselors that you can speak to also by calling customer service or emailing info@t3life.com. If you'd like to check out the links in the description of the video, like to learn more about my services, feel free to do so as well. But thank you so much for sticking around until now, and I hope you have a great week next week. I will talk to you guys on the VTF tomorrow by about 9 a.m. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.